Hi, guys. By the way, Andrew Marchand reported yesterday in the Post what I told you guys Tuesday. Just split the time with Mike. I mean, I was diplomatic, and I said, you guys are great. Mike is great. Let him come back at half the time. But anyway, Marchand said that. My Yankee point. The Yankees are now 15-9. That means they're on pace to go 101-61. Great record, 101-61. Do you know if the playoffs started tonight, they would be out? Houston and Toronto are ahead of them. L.A. is up there. Toronto is up there. Boston is up there. Yankees are going to have a harder time getting into the World Series than the Mets are. That's unbelievable. They may be the 5th or 6th best team in the American League.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as great as they're playing,
we usually just let you go on a 4-minute rant, and we didn't expect it to end that soon.
You got to let us know when you're about to end the rant. No.
You know what? Do us a favor. From now on, send us a script in advance so we can just clear it and be ready and time it all out. Thanks, Jason in Clifton. Hello, Jason.
Hey, guys. Let me start off by saying I would not be disappointed with any of the Giants picks if they pick one of these top guys. But in this league, pass-heavy league, you have to be able to stop the pass. Giants were last in sacks last year. There's a lot of good quarterbacks in their division. I think they got to get Chubb in order to, stop that pass in order to be effective. Look, if you want to be elite quarterbacks, you have to have an elite pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been the Giants' formula. You think about the NASCAR package where they had with Tuck, OC, Strahan, and Kianukwa. That is the plan. And if they go with Chubb, I wouldn't be mad at that. As long as they go second round, they try and move up and either get a running back or they're going to get one of these maulers from the inside, because if they're trying to move Flowers, they're going to have to replace him on the outside on the right tackle.
If you're going to go with a
quarterback, it's take your kids to work day.
To me, if you're going to go with a quarterback, I think you have to go with someone and start them now. You're not going to groom them for 2-3 years right now. Because everything, like if you listen to Paul Dottino, who always reports for the fan, he says the Giants are really high on Webb. That he says that the whole organization's impressed with him. I know he follows them. He's there.
But how can they be impressed with him when nobody there has seen him?
But
Eli was probably like, yeah, he's good. Trust me, he's great, because Eli don't want none of that smoke. Eli don't want no competition. The only person that have seen him play and practice pretty much live is Eli. And maybe some scouts.
Look, I just think if you're putting your future on Davis Webb, you're asking for it.
Why would a new regime who had nothing to do with the drafting of Davis Webb? And listen, I know Shermer has said very nice things about, hey, when we were scouting quarterbacks, we really liked him and we had all these nice things to say about him. I mean, why would a regime who's being tasked with winning right now, why would they want to keep, or why would they be putting any stock in Webb? Maybe they feel like if something happens to Eli Manning, he can come in and save the day. Maybe they feel like they have Nick Foles on their roster.
When was that mini camp? Did it start yet?
It just ended.
It just ended about an hour ago, probably, right?
Can we get some tape?
My guess would be no. Rich in Jersey.
His arm's probably ready to fall off.
I put it this way: I don't think there's some Gettleman's in the draft war room right now shifting around the board frantically.
Did you see that spiral?
We got the guy. Give me Chubb.
No, get me Brandon Bean on the phone immediately. Call Buffalo.
What's up, Rich? Rich.
Hey, how are you?
What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, folks?
Good.
All right, listen, first off, this is to all of you. You're doing a fantastic job. You deserve the radio time. You deserve to have it. Every one of you is doing really well, and you're just going to get better. And that pompous hand is all.
Look, it is what it is, Rich, and we appreciate your kind words about us. Now get to your point.
Chris. Listen, the point is, I want to make sure I have this right. I heard Maggie a few minutes ago, and I want to make sure. Did you predict the Giants are going to go 11-5?
I am, and I did that. Okay, well, I'll say this: I did that day when we did the over/unders.
The day that the entire NFL schedule came out,
we did.
That's what she said.
We did wins and losses, and I came up with 11-5. It might be a little bit optimistic, but here's a couple things I'm going to take into account. What happens when you have sometimes these big turnaround teams? What is it, right? It's a year after you have all this dysfunction, and I think think with a new regime, a new coaches all over the place, maybe you get that extra buy-in. And look at Dave Gettleman has come in, made a couple moves that maybe are putting guys a little bit on alert. You trade away JPP for a third-round pick, guys might start to pay attention a little bit. Think that defense is not going to be the issue that it was last year, where everyone was whining, complaining. They had guys missing practices, all that stuff. And finally, Odell could be healthy.
Well, finally, the Giants have paid attention to the middle linebacker, which they have avoided getting an impact player at that position. And when you move to a 3-4, you have a guy like Ogletree, he's going to be able to be one of these guys that can create pressure because it's a blitz-happy type of defensive scheme, and they're going to be able to cause some confusion, especially early on in the season, because teams don't know what they're getting themselves into. Much like when I came here with Rex, but this division hadn't seen all those blitzes and where they came from and the concepts. So it took them a while to adjust to it. I mean, I think the first game that we ever played the Patriots, which was, I believe, game 2, we hit Tom Brady 24 times, and he had no idea where it was coming from. And we beat him the first time we faced him in the stadium because he just had no clue.
Let's go Corey Manalapan. Corey, what's up?
But 11-5 is crazy.
Thanks for taking my call. I'm so glad that the draft is here because, boy, we've been talking about it seems like for years. But to make my point, I was a Barkley guy forever, but the more I listen and the more I think about it, I really, to Bart's point, is to trade back. I think if it's Buffalo, I don't know who it would be anyway, but if you trade back, you could get 2 really good players, I think, in the first round, and I think this Sonny Michel is really good. And I also think this, if I'm getting his name right, this Davenport, who's also a really good.
He's a sleeper. He is a sleeper.
I'm saying he's a good guy. You could probably maybe get him at 12 and 23, whatever.
Yeah.
And listen, if you really want a quarterback, I don't think this guy Mason Rudolph is so bad to get him in the second round. I'm going to let you guys talk, and thanks for letting me call.
Yeah, I'm just looking back over this. So here's where I have the losses for the New York Giants. I have them losing at Houston. I have them losing at Carolina. I have them losing at Atlanta, right? So, and then we're at the bye week. Then after that, I have them losing at San Francisco. I have them losing at Philly. And I think they're going to finish out the year strong.
I think they get
Chicago at home, Tennessee at home.
For the Giants, the brutal part of the schedule is early. For the Jets, the brutal part of the schedule is late.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, am I going to bet my mortgage on this or a week's pay? Absolutely not.
If you want to, I know a guy.
I know you know a guy. He took all your Knicks money. Because you doubled down. You went double or nothing at the end of the season.
Thanks to my betting compañero over here.
I know. Who was like, let it ride.
Yeah. Let it ride.
But the thing about when the hard games are at the end of the season, sometimes those teams that are expected to be good found themselves in limbo because when people were looking at the Giants facing them late in the season, this is going to be a tough game. But because they had such a bad season, a bad start, they had melded in, and they weren't anywhere the team because they had no motivation.
John's in Coram, New York. Johnny, what's cooking, buddy?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Listen, I hope the Jets get Rosen, but I just want to tell you something. My wife was in a similar situation as you guys. Long story short, she was an adjunct professor out on Long Island in a college, and then one of her colleagues retired, and they gave her a big, fancy retirement party. Everybody kicked in money for the dinner, the gift, and this, that, and the other thing. And then the woman comes back as an adjunct professor with her seniority, and she bunks everybody who's there. So it's like, you know what? It goes on through life. You guys...
John, it makes me feel better. John, it makes me feel better.
Did Mad Dog rip her for it?
I called it a couple of times. My daughter says I got to apologize to Maggie because I called her a tough broad. But that was a compliment. That was a compliment.
I took it as a compliment. It's okay. Listen, I understood that it was that you said that with the right spirit. You know, there was nothing malicious behind it.
It was the tone.
It was the tone.
Mike's in Cranford. Michael, what's up, buddy?
Hi. Thanks for taking the call. Just to amplify what the last caller had to say, I just first wanted to commend the three of you for, really taking a tough situation that many of us have been through in corporate America and really taken the high road where it's not the easiest thing to do.
It's all good. We're still talking about sports and getting paid, so we're good.
Wait till my book comes out.
Absolutely. So my question is, obviously it's an exciting night with the draft coming up. There was a lot of talk in today's paper and on social media about the Giants potentially looking to hang on to Eli for at least another couple of years. Do you see them possibly looking to draft a quarterback high in this first round, or maybe going for a back? Or there seems to be a lot of chatter over in a bunch of different directions of where they might go. Well, Eli, but they could be playing poker.
I believe they've identified one quarterback that they will take, and I think that's Sam Darnold. And that's all dependent on what the Cleveland Browns do at number one. If the Cleveland Browns are dumb enough to take Baker Mayfield or Josh Allen number one, then I think that changes the entire board. I think that changes the entire draft. I think people will start paying attention and be willing to trade up and give up assets. You know, you think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm sure they'll trade their pick and give you Martavis Bryant for nothing, give you a receiver, a number one receiver that's under control for $700,000 for an opportunity to move up, because they have to start thinking about replacing a potential Hall of Fame quarterback. But they understand that Eli and Ben probably have about the same amount of years left. But they're recognizing, even last year they took a quarterback.
Different though with Roethlisberger. Every single year, or the last couple years, he has said at the end of the season, I got to think about my future. Yeah. Eli never says that.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Ben Roethlisberger right now is twice the quarterback of Eli Manning, and that's in the numbers.
So what are the last-minute little nuggets out there? Who are the Jets and Giants targeting here to really draft as we get closer to 8 o'clock? Daniel Jeremiah.